Welcome to the stream. There's delay on my voice. Hold on. Okay, I fixed it. Let's pretend none of this happened. Hey everyone. Today we're going to be learning an advanced level grammar form. Now, often when I teach you advanced level grammar, I preface it by saying you're probably never going to need to use this, or it's not really commonly used. But today is different. This form you're going to learn today is actually one that you're probably going to hear, and you may even use yourself. So it's a very useful advanced level form, and it's actually not that difficult to make. So let's start with the most basic form of what we're going to be using today. You take a verb stem, any verb, and you attach 거니 followed by the verb 하다, and then you conjugate 하다. So what is this form? Well, it's a combination of two pieces, 거니. Now, 거니 is a verb ending, and what it does is it's used when the speaker agrees with or confirms something that comes before. So whatever the verb is here. So the speaker's agreeing with it or confirming it. Basically, that's kind of like just saying, yes, the verb. Yes, that is. Yes, that happens. Yes, something. My opinion. I agree. Or I confirm. Yes. And the 하다 here is not really to do, but 하다 here is actually being used as a different verb. It's used in place of another verb, and that is 생각하다, meaning to think. There are a lot of grammar forms that use 하다 in this way. For example, if you're already advanced, you might know the form 가하다. So it's kind of like saying to think. The speaker thinks, yes, I agree with something, or I confirm this thing. That's what we have so far. This form is used specifically when the speaker is agreeing with or confirming something that comes before it, something that the speaker has some sort of past experience with. Like, yes, I agree with it because I know that. Or I agree with it, I can confirm that because I have experience with that. So it's really just like a speaker expressing their own opinion that they agree with something. Now, this is not the main form we're going to be using today for the lesson, but I'm introducing this form first. This specific form here, 거니 하다, you're not going to see this form, maybe ever. If so, rarely. This form as it is, with just a verb stem with 거니 하다 by itself, is an older form and very rare. Now, the form we're going to be learning next is not old or rare, but the original version is. This form I just said is uncommon, but it's still the main form we're going to be using today. How? Well, let's take a look at this part, verb stem. There are other types of verb stems that we can work with besides just like 하다 becoming ha. What if? What if? What if, I say? What if? Do you think we could? No, we couldn't. We shouldn't. We wouldn't. But we must. What about this ending, where you take a verb stem and you attach 겠다? This is the future tense ending, right? But it's not just future. It's not just someone will do something. I will do that. But it's also sort of future as in you're making like a guess about something. And that's why this ending is normally, not just in this form, but normally used to mean like someone would or something would, or it must be like, oh, that must have been really hard for you. Or it would have been really fun. That must be really delicious when you see someone's food that looks good. Oh, that looks so good. Oh, 맛있겠다. Literally, oh, that must be good. This ending normally is used for making guesses about things. What if we were to take this and put it onto our verb before we got the verb stem and then attached 거니 하다? Well, then you would get something that looks kind of like this. Let's start with a verb just 하다. And now we attach 겠다, just like normal. And then now we put this into here. So we get verb stem, which is get, and then 거니 하다. Or if you want to skip all this mess, just go straight to verb stem plus get 거니 하다. Well, what does this mean now? Now you are confirming or agreeing with something, but making a guess about it. Yes, I agree that it would, or I confirm that it would, or I agree that it must be, or I agree that it would be. Anything like that is now the literal meaning of this form. To make this more simply, this form is used by the speaker to make a guess about something. So a really simple way to translate this form is assume. What you're literally saying is, yeah, I agree that it must be that way, or it would be that way, or I confirm it would be that way, or it must be that way, like that. But more naturally, this is just how you say, I assume. This form, because it means to assume something, is a tiny bit fancy sounding. But another thing is that it sounds quite straightforward, like you're simply conveying information. It doesn't have implied nuance in it. Just straightforward, I assume. And remember how it uses 겠다. You can attach 겠다 to other tenses as well. You can attach 겠다 not just to the present tense, but you can also attach it to the past tense. 했겠다. Would have been or must have been, past tense. Here are 3 ways that you'll commonly translate this form. Either think, like I thought that something would be, or assume, or it could translate as guess, like I guessed that something would be. Any of these will work. Let's do our very first example sentence. 오늘도, so today too, 당연히, of course, obviously, 비가 오겠거니 하고. So I am thinking, 생각하고, I'm thinking, yes, of course, it must rain today too. And thinking that, 우산, umbrella, 가지고 오다, to bring an umbrella. So, 오늘도 당연히 비가 오겠거니 하고 우산을 가지고 왔어요. I thought it would, of course, rain today also, and brought an umbrella. I assumed that, of course, it would rain again today, and brought an umbrella. So I thought, of course, it's going to rain again today, and I brought an umbrella. 하고. So I thought that and brought an umbrella. So if we just look at this part of the sentence, yes, I agree, or I confirm that it will, or would, or must rain. I think that and. So I think, yes, of course it's going to rain, and brought my umbrella. 오늘도 당연히 비가 오겠거니 하고 우산을 가지고 왔어요. 다시 말을 안 해도. So, 다시, again, 말하다, to say or to speak. So, 말 안 해도, even if I don't say it again, 기억하겠거니 했는데. So here first, 기억하다, to remember. So you will remember, 했는데, I thought, but 아니었어요. It was not. 다시 말을 안 해도 기억하겠거니 했는데, 아니었어요. So I thought that you would remember. Again, you would remember. Again, this is making a guess. However, it was not. So like I thought that even if I don't tell you it again, you just remember, but no, it wasn't. 다시 말을 안 해도 기억하겠거니 했는데 아니었어요. 앞으로 더 비싸지겠거니 하고. So 앞으로, in the future, going forward. 더, more, 비싸지다, to get or become expensive. So 하고, so thinking that it would be more expensive in the future, 그냥 샀는데, I just bought it. But 가격이, the price, 내려가다, to go down. The price went down. So I was thinking that it would be more expensive in the future and I just bought it, but the price went down. 앞으로 더 비싸지겠거니 하고 그냥 샀는데 가격이 내려갔어요. 질문 없으면, so if there are no questions, 다들, everyone, 이해했겠거니, so 이해하다, to understand. 이해했다, understood. So I will assume that all of you understood, 했다, past tense, understood. 하고, I'll think that, and 넘어가다, to just continue on. I'll just go on. I'll just move on. So if there are no questions, I'll just assume everyone's understood and move on. 질문 없으면 다들 이해했겠거니 하고 넘어갈게요. 삼겹살, pork belly. 삼겹살이 없으면, so if there is no pork belly, 목심, pork shoulder. 목심이라도, at least pork shoulder or something like that, at least pork shoulder. If there's no 삼겹살, then at least pork shoulder. 사오다, to buy and come back. 사오겠거니 했는데, so 했는데, I thought that you would 사오다, buy and bring back at least pork shoulder if there's no 삼겹살. 했는데, I thought that, or I assumed that, but 빈손, so empty-handed. 돌아오다, to return, to come back. If there's no 삼겹살, then I thought you would buy and bring at least pork shoulder, but you came back, you returned empty-handed. I thought if there's no 삼겹살, at least you'd bring back some pork shoulder, but you just came back empty-handed. Again, I assumed, I thought, I guessed that you would 사오다, buy and bring 목심, at least 목심, pork shoulder, if there's no 삼겹살, but 빈손으로, empty-handed, 돌아오다, you came back. 삼겹살이 없으면 목심이라도 사오겠거니 했는데 빈손으로 돌아왔어요. So, you might be wondering, what's the difference between this form and 줄 알다? First of all, you should know that both of these forms, 겠거니 하다 and 줄 알다, are used in speech. So these are not like formal forms or written-only forms. These are spoken forms. If you want to learn about this form in more detail, I did a live stream on December 3rd, 2023, which is all about 줄 알다. 줄 알다 is used to express that someone expects something. In that way, because you expected it, it's like you knew something. Like, yeah, I knew it would be that way. I expected it completely. But it also translates as think. Like, oh, I thought it would be. I was wrong. Which is implying that you expected it. So it'll either be to know something or to think something, depending on whether your expectation turned out true or not. And because of that, the speaker may be surprised at the outcome. For example, I knew that something would happen, and it did. Yay, I knew it would happen. Or maybe, oh, I thought it would happen, but it didn't. So the speaker could be surprised by whatever it is. It kind of implies that you really expected something to happen. And if it did happen, then you say, I knew it. And if it didn't happen, you would say, I thought. However, 겠거니 하다 is to say that someone has an expectation about something, meaning literally just that they thought it or they just assumed it. It doesn't mean that they're going to be surprised necessarily by the outcome. The main thing is that 겠거니 하다 is neutral. It doesn't have any sort of expectation like you're going to be surprised about the answer being right or wrong. It doesn't matter whether what you're saying is true or not. It's detached from that. It is simply saying, I think something must be a certain way. I think, yes, this must be like that. So I assume. It doesn't mean, oh, I thought it would be. Oh, no. Or I knew it would be. Ah, yes. There's no sort of like extra expectation, like extra surprise when you use this form. So it's less common than this form, but it's much more neutral. Okay, that is our lesson for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.